It's an exciting day today. Everyone in the racing pigeon world knows that the Belgians are the masters when it comes to what they call dune sport. England invented football, the Belgians invented pigeon racing, and the majority of fanciers believe the best birds still come from that little slice of Europe. So, Belgium is where I'm going. It's a 660-mile round trip, so I choose my ride carefully. Thanks to my wife, I'm allowed to use her car, and in return, she gets the pleasure of looking after the pigeons while I'm gone. Before I get to Belgium, or London as it happens, I've got a passenger to pick up. That is my mother. She's coming with us, taking my mum. Hi, mother! Oh, swearing! After picking up the potty-mouthed parent, we head to a rendezvous in London. And we've got... Because she's going to interrupt me next time I speak. Right.
Keep right.
The next petrol station is in 16 miles, and we've got 15 miles left of diesel. So we like living life on the edge, don't we, Mum? And that game of diesel roulette ended badly. I've had a wee in the bush. So, little update. We're down to 0 on the miles. So the petrol station that we tried to get to on the motorway is closed. You can't even get to it. A Sainsbury's petrol station 1.1 miles that way, and there's a Tesco 1 mile that way. Only 1 mile, but because of the traffic, it's 10 minutes, and we can't sit in traffic for 10 minutes in the car because it just won't run that long. So here's the thing. We're gonna let the traffic die down for 20 minutes if we can, and then we're going to get in and go, and if we make it, great. If we don't, then we're going to pull up on the curb. I'm going to jump out. I've got my running trainers in the back of the car. We're going to peg it over to the petrol station, get 5, and the moral of this story is don't scrimp over a petrol station because it's 3 pence a litre more than it was from the previous one. So yeah, we're missing out on pizza for this, but here we are. Hallelujah. And it's only 169.9 a litre, so it's worth it, all that stress. Celebrity. The next morning, we took a drive down to Folkestone to ride Le Shuttle underneath the sea to France. Meanwhile, back home, I'd left the family in charge of the loft.
It's a bit chilly. It's snowing. Let's go and see the little ones. You keep him warm. Some water, and Daddy says we need 300 grams of this. Open it. Let's see how much that is. Not too much. Right. We're going to see the little ones, make sure they're alright. Got water.
Yeah.
Let's go. Nice and sunny, but it was really cold last night. So I think we've been okay. It's yours. I'm hungry. Right, I'll empty their water. Put some. Oh, it's frozen, Archie. It's frozen. Let's get that emptied out. Right, can you just stay with them for a minute? Is that alright?
Yeah. Well, you can see here that some of the birds, like this one, we've still got loads of yellow heads on the top. Then if you come over here, this one, it's only got a few left. So that means that is one of the older ones.
Aren't they cute? Love your one. Dark hole. Come on, dark hole. You're brave, aren't you? Alright, so we need 450 grams for the bigger birds. So just measuring that out. That'll do. 451.
So this is for the bigger birds. We're going to feed them now.
You look hungry. Morning. Right.
So we're on the hilltop town of Cassel, looking south down onto Flanders Plain, where from our perspective, left to right, you could see the axis of advance of the 6th Panzer Division heading east to west. And down there we'd have 2 Gloucesters in the outpost trying to defend this town and delay the advance of 15th Panzer Corps so that the British Expeditionary Force could collapse into the Dunkirk corridor.
I'd been to the Menin Gate on a school trip, but I don't think I really appreciated the scale of how many people died in World War I. There are over 54,000 names on this memorial, whose graves are unknown, and it was sobering. We also paid a visit to the museum, where I found some interesting photographs of mobile battlefield pigeon lofts.
Bring, bring.
In Bruges, we only had a few hours to take in the city and find somewhere to eat and drink. The next morning, it was back to Pigeons, and I was excited.
Trying to grab his phone, but it was between.
Touch my penis!
On his crotch. Yeah, I need to know where I'm going, mate.
Ooh, he's in Paris.
This chap we're going to see, his name's Alexander, but he doesn't like the way English say Alexander, so we'll just call him Alex. I think that the Belgians take pigeon racing quite seriously, so messaged me months ago and said if you need any help with your birds, or if you want any birds at any point, and so I thought I'd take him up on his offer, because all the birds in my loft at the moment have been given to me from local flyers. So the idea is get some new blood, new lines in, to mix it up a little bit. And he doesn't know if they'll be any good on flying on the North Road, because they don't cover any sea. He flies mostly from France. We won't be covering any, flying over any water either, unless we try and go to Lerwick, but I don't think the birds he's given us are really bred for Lerwick distances, mostly for Scotland. 300-400 miles, I think he was saying, but he'll tell us more about it anyway when we get there.
Recently, a racing pigeon from Belgium sold for £64,000, and the record is over 1.5 million euros. I was getting these young birds for free, so I was half expecting to turn up to a little shed next to a caravan. Boy, was I wrong.
Get that extra bit of...
for national races or big races, I sit here. They know how to get in.
How far furthest you raced then? Have you done Barcelona, or is that something that you aim for? Or
This year.
Is it this year?
Yeah. I've done
Alex told me that he'd previously given up racing due to the distance between home, work and the lofts. But after 25 years in the sport, it was hard to leave for good. So he built a pretty impressive loft on his back garden and plans to send to the famous Barcelona race this year. This was the first Belgian loft I'd visited, and I had a serious case of loft envy.
But one of my 2 best yearlings last year was absolutely terrible as a young bird.
Yeah. That's what I'm told,
Yeah.
Lovely, look at this one.
Yeah, she hasn't bred yet. She was
Right.
a late bred from last year.
Yeah.
But I have two very, very good birds out of her sister.
I'm interested with these grills, right?
Yeah.
So I've got some, so they're not metal ones, but in the future I'd like to sort of obviously improve the loft. When you have grills,
Yeah.
do you just leave whatever's at the bottom? Do you ever scrape out? Or...
Here, where we are now in the corridor,
Yeah.
we try to clean it once a year.
Okay.
Still have to do it for this year though.
Yeah. And you just pull it all up.
Yeah, put it all up. Get a leaf blower in first to get a lot of it out.
Yeah.
Put it into the garden. But here, there's actually a plate under there
Yeah.
that actually catches all the droppings. And every 6 to 8 weeks, we remove it, clean it out, and we're off again.
Yeah. So 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
No, nothing underneath there. Just droppings of
underneath
food
there.
and whatever. Yeah.
What I used to do in my other place is that I drop into the floor,
Yeah.
about the same height as here,
Yeah.
and protected it around that the pigeons couldn't get under it. And then we clean it only once a year. And the problem with that is, why I didn't do it here, is that you always have food spillage in there,
Yeah.
which attracts mice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like here, I made these boxes. I had someone make them because I'm like this. I just made this.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a good idea.
This bear, for instance, has been bred by me, and one of the young birds.
Quite tame, aren't they?
Yeah.
Mine would be attacking me.
One of the young birds you're having is out of this pair.
Right. Okay. So tell me about this pair then.
It's actually the breeding pair of my best hen last season.
Oh, you said yeah.
My best racing hen.
Yeah.
So he did all right when racing. She was absolutely terrible,
Right.
but I bred a fantastic 2 hens out of them.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Sometimes. And how old are these?
2020, 3 years old.
Yeah.
Both of them. Both of them. So I've been looking for a type of food I can give year round.
Yeah.
Breeding, molting, racing.
Everything in one
Everything
food.
in there. There's a basic food and a fat food. And we mix that up. So in winter, in molting, in breeding, it's 80% normal food, 20% fat food. When you go racing, we increase the fat food. The last couple of days.
Yeah. Right.
The
Okay.
fat food.
So, yeah, the seeds.
Some nuts, some
Yeah.
sunflower,
Yeah.
bit of everything. Yeah, there we go.
What impressed me was the semi-professional setup on a back garden. Good birds, well thought out feeding regime, and a loft that didn't require daily scraping. And the whole place was immaculate, a far cry from the shantytown lofts of 70s England. Would I prefer racing as a hobby, the way I am, or a semi-professional setup like this? It's food for thought. We only had an hour to spend with Alex, so after a short tour, we had to get the birds loaded.
This is a cock, I think.
I think, yeah.
That's a hen.
Yeah, I think I might have
I can still put one here.
a struggle with one.
Daniel, this is how you do it. She don't feel it.
Well, we have different codes as well.
Yeah.
So if it's a national, then you can buy your rings from a national.
Okay.
And then your clubs generally will have different prefix. But the S is for the kids.
as well.
Yeah. You look very small, you aren't you? With all 8 birds in the crate, Alex gave a quick brief of the pedigrees.
Same here. What Dixon actually flew those results himself. and then these are his siblings. Yeah, it's not on there, but what I'll do is I'll send you a list of the lists of these races for me.
Yeah,
Nowadays.
Right, get these loaded in.
All right.
Thank you very much, Alex.
Good luck.
Cheers. Back home, I had jobs to do. Been and got the birds from Belgium, from Alex, which I'll show you shortly. Today is parting day, and that's basically where I've got to separate the hens from the cocks because they're on the second round of eggs, and I don't really want them to sit a second round because these are my racers. I don't have a stock loft yet, which I took the eggs out yesterday, and I'm going to move the hens over. However, there are still 2 pairs rearing 2 young each, and there's also 2 pairs rearing the eggs from Darlow 94 and Charlie's Angel 83. So you can see here I've put a partition in the aviary. That's because I've got the Belgian birds in one side and I've got my birds in the other side, and the Belgian birds need to remain quarantined for a while. I really want to get them used to the fact that when I whistle and shake this food jug or tin, it means it's time for food, and I'm going to do that before I let them out. It worked really well for me last year when I wanted to get them back in. They knew that this and me whistling was food, so they listened to me. Let's move into section 2. I've got this little temporary door on here. Everything's temporary in my house and in my pigeon loft. There's still a bit of food left. Return of the old drinker, so I need to go and get a new one of those today. And these are the Belgian birds. So these are from Alex, and I think some of them are from a friend of his as well. So we'll find out a bit more about those in the future. And what I've done with them is I've stuck a little yellow ring on, just so I can tell them from a glance until I learn what each bird looks like. And some of these are arches. They're mine, but they've got arches rings on. So until we decide whether he wants to race or not. But he'll be racing from here anyway. So yeah, nice looking birds. We'll keep them in here for a few more days just to make sure that they haven't got any diseases, which I don't think they have. They've been vaccinated and everything anyway before we imported them. So let's let them out, shall we? First time this year, first time in lots of months. See if they remember what to do. There you go, guys. There we go. Now they're all flying. When you've been all winter, you forget just how great it is to see them just flying. And they love it. I think they've forgotten. This is what I'm really, really looking forward to. Just coming back after work and just flying them. Brilliant. And then racing them at the weekend. Oh, it feels like it's been absolutely ages since I've done any of this. Next time, apart from filming my backside on every shot, I start training the yearlings ready for our first old bird racing season, which is just weeks away. If you'd like a notification for that episode, then give the channel a like and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, share it to a group. It all helps the channel.